Is safer than it was not so long ago?
Americans are exactly protected in the same form as any other citizen of Mexico. So there's really no difference among being an American or a Mexican. In fact, Americans have the treatment of a most favored nation status.
Along the coast and along the border, foreigners cannot own land, so it's a bank trust. How does that differ from ownership?
The issue of acquisition it's actually the border areas and the coastal areas, is from what we call the restricted zone. It's a prohibition that's inserted in our Constitution that limits people that limits the acquisition by foreigners in an area of 50 kilometers from the coast and 100 kilometers from the borders. And that, of course, in the case of Baja, essentially encompasses all of the peninsula. And what that essentially means is that they cannot hold ownership directly. Now, as a form to allow foreigners to acquire property, you have what we call the fideicomiso, or commonly referred to in Spanish as the fideicomiso, or a trust. In reality, these trusts are really no different than if you see them in the context of a family trust or a living trust, in which you have a trustee, which is normally a developer or the seller, where you have a trustor, a trustee who is a Mexican bank, and the beneficiary who is the purchaser of the property. And much like in a family trust where you are the beneficiary and essentially hold all the ownership rights, you hold them in the same form in Mexico. So you really are an owner, and it shouldn't be confused with a lease, because the property is exactly the ownership of the property through the trust.
How can buyers be assured that title to property held in a trust is clear of other claims?
Well, it's done very much in the same form as it is in the United States, where you go and you visit a public registry of property. And this can be done through an attorney that you hire or an individual with expertise in reviewing title, or you can also work with title insurance companies, many of whom have established in Mexico and offer title insurance in Mexico. And much as you would do in the United States, you would secure a title commitment prior to closing on the purchase of a piece of property, and then secure title insurance once you've acquired it.
When title search fails to identify the sequence of past ownership and proper transfer of title of such ownership, what is the policy of the title insurance company?
We have had many cases where we do not insure clients. We create value by two ways. One, by issuing a policy that it covers their investment, or by two, informing them that we cannot secure this investment through a policy.
Many developers require deposit from buyers at the time of purchase, in many cases while the residence has not been constructed or is in the process of construction.
During that period, you can put down a deposit on the property, much as you would do so in the United States. You obviously try to have that money placed in escrow, and that would be the recommended course of action. Now, in reality, many developers in Mexico will ask you to actually release the deposit to them. Some others will put it in escrow, and others offer bonding to guarantee the reimbursement of the deposit. Obviously, from a legal perspective, what we would recommend is always to keep the money in escrow.
What is the prudent course of action for buyers?
The best course of action is putting the money in escrow.
For 80 years, the Rosarito Beach Hotel has been the most prominent landmark and the most visited resort by Southern Californians. In keeping with the demand, the Rosarito Beach Hotel is building a condo hotel tower. This will allow buyers to enjoy a second home and have it available to rent when not using it. CS Financial, a California mortgage bank headquartered in Beverly Hills, California, that underwrites $2 billion annually in mortgages and construction loans, has entered the Mexican market.
We currently have products that are focused primarily on American citizens or American residents.
Larry Kelly decided to retire in Rosarito Beach 7 years ago. How has he found the experience to be?
Decided when I retired that this is where I had to be. I love the whole atmosphere, the people, the culture, the food, everything.
Was it a difficult decision to make?
Not at all. I wanted a vacation home, and I went to Hawaii, and I was looking over there, and everything was so totally out of reach financially. Came back, and a friend of mine said, "Here, take my keys to a unit that he had down here." That first weekend coming down, I bought in that same weekend, and since then I'm on my fourth home now.
The importance of real estate reform in Mexico is of great interest to American buyers. Uppermost is the assurance that real estate agents are knowledgeable and abide by a strict code of ethics while being policed by competent legal authorities. Hugo Torres, second-generation owner-operator of the Rosarito Beach Hotel and recently elected mayor of Rosarito Beach to serve from December 2007 to December 2010, has been at the forefront of seeking reform.
We are very much concerned that people involved in real estate are really professionals.
Mr. Torres was a co-founder of Attitour, a member organization of Baja coastal developers who agree to abide by a code of ethics, obtain title insurance for the properties proposed for development, and offer the same to buyers, and obtain all applicable local, state, and federal permits needed for the developments. Many Americans have long hesitated to buy property in Baja, indeed all of Mexico, due to fear that property might be lost to former claims of ownership without recourse to the American buyers. Will there be real estate licensing requirements dictating a course of studies to real estate issues and passing a test?
Our main goal is to have the state government of Baja California and the Baja California Congress approve a proposal that the Association of Realtors has presented, in which they will require a license before they come and start selling real estate. So what we are recommending at this point for new buyers is to look for members of the associations of realtors in Baja California. There are two, the AMPI and the API. Both of them are listed in the web of Investing in Baja Oceanfront, because these people are taking courses and they have a code of ethics that they have to comply. But we are still not being required a license. That's our goal, and that should come out, if not this year, will be early next year, because it's up to the local legislator right now.
Reform for real estate professionals is a very positive step, but representation to buyers are only as good as the ethics, warranty, and representations made by the developers.
They must have a title insurance policy by one of the major companies, and we don't care who that is. Sure. They must either offer a performance bond or escrow the down payments of the buyer's money.
We have to make sure that our franchise, being an international known brand name, Century 21, only lists properties that have funds available for the construction, that have a proven track record of delivering quality on time, that have escrow accounts available to be opened at any point of the transaction, that title insurance is available, and intangibles that, with experience, we've come to realize that how to choose our projects.
The real estate boom in the U.S., California included, has slowed and in some places regressing. What will be the effect on the Baja real estate boom?
I think that financing is definitely bringing in a new sales technique to these developers and the real estate companies. I also would make one comment to the market slowing. I think actually what we saw is, we saw a boom. And what we're seeing now is maybe a stronger market coming into Baja, because as opposed to speculators, now you're getting buyers that really believe in the marketplace from a standpoint of the culture and what's there to live with. And so we're actually seeing more retirement individuals coming to move down to Mexico. And to us, that's a more stable market than is a second home investment buyer. So when we say the slowing, the only area we see the slowing on is maybe we're not going to have as much equity to tap into in the States for these buyers. But we do definitely see a strong notion of retirement buyers continuing to leap down towards this area, especially your Mexican Americans wanting to come back down to their culture.
I hope you've enjoyed this program, which gave me the opportunity to explain to you about Baja California. Baja California is visited for over 20 million people a year. I hope you could be one of those 20 million in the near future. We have over 250,000 people from the U.S. who call Baja California their home. on the Pacific and on the coast. And we have great opportunities for you to invest in a lifestyle that only Baja California offers you. Thank you.